Brenda Lee, yep, Batavia area, you got that lake effect snow warning. We're going to be highlighting you particularly close as we go into our snow map here shortly. Hi, Noreen. I am having a good evening. Hope you are too. All right, so let's dip and dive into this. This is the storm system that's headed on in. Really looks more impressive, honestly, between us than it really is. So this is the warm front. This is going to produce, probably by about 2 a.m. in the Rochester area, a couple-hour window of some wet snowflakes. The problem's going to be, I think by the time this thing gets in here, we're warming up with the advance of this warm front, and we're probably in the mid-30s. So yes, there could be some wet snowflakes, but there may also end up being raindrops mixing in, and you're already kind of getting a taste of that. The cold front is what's lagging back here. Let's see if I got my little front tracker. There it is. I just don't know which one's pulled up. There we go. All right, so this is the cold front, right about in there. And all of this stuff behind it, this is going to be all the cold air that's going to start to get the lake effect snow machine going. So realistically, through tonight at 2 a.m., I think we've got a window between 2 a.m. and about 9 or 10 that we get through all of this mess. But it's going to be kind of broken by the time it gets here. Now, we've got some housekeeping that we've got to go through. Let me pull up the watches and the warnings. We've got lake effect snow watches that are in effect west of Rochester. So this is not like what we just dealt with, where we had widespread snow for everybody. We knew everybody's going to get some semblance of accumulation. This one's going to be much more localized, contingent on where the banding comes off of Lake Erie. And flows like this, we typically watch the area that I have circled here. So that clips us with an advisory. That's that purple color in Orleans County. Genesee's got a lake warning. Wyoming's got a lake snow warning. Erie County, including Buffalo, has a lake snow warning too. And I feel like John Madden just doodling all over this thing. So let's clean that up and get you in the future view here. Leading edge of that precip with the advance of the warm front. There it is just after midnight. Again, I figure 2 a.m. is a fair arrival time for this, but there you go. It's 35 in Rochester. It's 34 in Sodus, and could be snow, but temperatures in that range. I think it's fair game to be a mix of both of those. So we'll kind of keep that advertised on the table here. Call it just a generic rain-snow mix. I don't see a whole lot of a threat for things like freezing rain, so we're not going to worry much about that. 6 a.m., we got enough dry air getting in there that we got some breaks, but here comes the cold front. And don't blink, you're going to miss it. That's it. This is the cold front right in here. So I think the high tomorrow in Rochester that ends up spiking in the middle to upper 30s, that should be achieved by 9 o'clock. And then we're going to end up dropping or holding steady to dropping as we go into the afternoon. As you head into 5 o'clock, now this is where things start getting interesting. And this is a little bit of the song and dance we're going to end up playing with regard to snowfall potential. Note behind this front the orientation of the wind. So the wind flow is kind of like this. We're going to get both lakes involved, both Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, but when you've got a southwest flow like this, the stuff that Lake Ontario spits out is going to be more up here. We're going to be more looking toward Watertown. So our source of snow is going to come from Lake Erie in the Rochester area, which traditionally does not give us a ton. But what this one's going to do, and what we have noted, look at how deep and how extended this band of lake effect snow is advertised to get. That has caught our attention, and this could be one because we have a stout wind flow in the low levels of the atmosphere. This may cause more of a blow and a billowing of that primary lake effect snow band, and we got to get into this mode of that primary band. Does it end up settling over one spot for 5 or 6 hours, or does it flutter? And typically, I think it is set up like this, it's going to flutter. But it's going to be a pretty intense band, especially from Buffalo to Batavia. I think Friday night and Saturday, that could be some really dicey travel along the thruway. Note into early Saturday morning, there it is. Band is still, it's even got legs all the way out into Wayne County. It's going to be lighter, much lighter out there, but we got to watch this guy in here. We don't have an advisory in Monroe, but it's not impossible. We end up sneaking in several inches of fresh snowfall accumulation. That band's not moving a whole lot, at least according to this model. Into 9:30, maybe a little lifting northward as it breaks apart as we go into Saturday afternoon. Now, what we've done with the snow map out of this, We, here as a station, we like putting out a snow map when we get within 48 hours, which is the window. But we always have to caution you with this. This is a lake effect event, and the primary thing we're going to be tracking is largely one singular band that will likely be very long, extending from the lake, but from a width perspective, this may be no more than 10 miles wide. And it's going to flutter around and move around. Now, we know within that bullseye of purple color, 6 to 12 inches should be easy to get to. And we know that because you're close to the lake. History says that kind of flow gives you a lot. But where we had some discussion and some talking points here internally earlier this afternoon was the notion of, is there going to be a little bit of an extension necessary somewhere in this area where we're going to need to take that deeper blue of 3 to 6 and push it out farther to the east? And my opinion on that is the answer is probably yes. But until we know what that band is going to look like, and we start getting comfortable once this is unfolding, where that band is going to inevitably set up shop for a little bit, I don't want to go and extend 3 to 6 out there. I'm always usually of the opinion with these, I want to start low and build up. I don't want to oversell or over-advertise. We may get to a point here where, and again, it may be north of Rochester, it may be south, it may be right over, where that band gives you a little bit more than 1 to 3 inches, and that could very well happen. We got to get to that point here. So I like the way this map is drawn, the overall notion that in a flow like this, you're not getting much down here in the Finger Lakes. I don't think you're getting, but this is not a Wayne County snow special. You've had enough of those, I think, over the last few weeks. But we get to see, does this band want to, kind of go like that? Or does it drop a little south? All of those things are what's going to be on our plate here over the next 24 to 36 hours. And then we know it's going to get cold, and I don't think that's going anywhere for a while. I think, truth be told, tomorrow morning is going to be the last time that we are above freezing in Rochester for at least 10 days, in my opinion. This goes all the way out. This is Sunday, February 14th, and the pattern is locked in with this. It's about the same with each run that we've seen, where we drop this big old trough across the Great Lakes. I had to put in a new category on this with some yellow colors in there. We had to go beyond Arctic to brutal temperatures. So, I don't think this is going to be the kind of thing like you always read about the polar vortex in the news. It's going to be cold here, but none of this is going to be earth-shattering. I could see some days as we start getting closer toward middle February where you're back in the teens for highs, and I could even see a few nights that are close to zero, if not maybe a little bit below that. But we're not talking earth-shattering, certainly not for this time of year, so I don't want to oversell it like that, that we're going to be screaming polar vortex from the mountaintops. But this is a pattern now that we get locked in for a bit. And once these establish themselves, they tend to have a hard time breaking up. They almost reinforce themselves to some extent. So you see the 8-day here. Keep the lake effect snow going into Saturday. There could be some additional snow showers around Sunday. But if you can imagine in your mind here, if you plotted a line with these numbers, the line is slowly but surely going down, 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 down progressively, deeper into next week. By Thursday, Friday of next week, we've got highs of 19 and 17. I've actually got up here looking at some of the latest model data that goes out about 2 weeks, and it's very difficult and unwise for us to put a whole lot of stock in stuff that's way out there in the long run. But I will tell you, there's some pretty skinny numbers out there as we get closer toward not this weekend, but next weekend, where you're way down in the low teens, and like I said, you may have some single digits and maybe even below zero temperatures showing up by that point. I've been neglecting everybody on here. Let me go through. Beatrix, hello! We're keeping it up here for now. For now. Let's see what happens in about a week's time down there. Sherry says she's driving from Franklinville to Springville tomorrow afternoon. Will you get into a mess? I wouldn't so much call it a mess, Sherry. I think you're likely going to run into some snow showers. But some of the toughest travel as you go west on the thruway is likely going to be late in the day tomorrow, particularly into tomorrow night. And I think as we get into Saturday morning too, that's likely going to be the nuts and bolts of some of the heaviest snowfall here.